Hello everyone, peopledud here, and welcome back for some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So in the last episode, trial ended up in absolute chaos. But, with that happening, we have an extra day to investigate. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and do just that.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm so sorry for what my sister said.
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get this verdict he deserved.
I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings.
Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me.
Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me.
What do you mean what happened to you?
It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he had left behind an incriminating piece of evidence.
Well, what did you have to do with those killings, Emma?
On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me.
What? He tried to kill you?
Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me.
So, that means you...
Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial.
I didn't see that one coming.
It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was so alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she had finished her work. And suddenly, a terrifying man came bursting into the office.
Joe Dark.
It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up.
Jake Marshall's brother.
Joe Dark tried to make me a hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then,
What happened?
I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a ball of lightning just flashed outside the window, lighting up the entire office for an instant. What I saw then was burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now.
A permanent picture. What did you see in that instant the crime occurred?
Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife.
Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl.
I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms.
Poor Emma. You've been through so much.
I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good.
2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable.
Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies. And find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any.
I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. but there's still something that bothers me about that crime.
I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall.
So, you weren't able to testify about that?
No. I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime.
Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence?
The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence, and Mr. Edgeworth used it.
Edgeworth?
Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known that he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened.
So it's true. Even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence.
After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today.
She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. You know, there's something that's been puzzling me, Emma.
What is it?
You said that you were in Lana's office at the time, right?
That's right.
Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor?
Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day.
Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police?
Of course. This is what happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office.
But why did he run all the way over there to your sister's office?
Because the detective offices and the questioning rooms are right across from the elevator.
Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she?
No, silly. Did I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force.
What? That's news to me.
After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor.
Lana used to be a detective? I'd better have another talk with her.
Lana!
Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we?
But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might just be found guilty.
Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you.
Oh?
About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was a reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. A lot of revelations were uncovered at today's trial. Not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen. I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be.
The trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth.
It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department.
Tell me it's not true, Lana. What's what the witness, Miss Starr, said about you stabbing Mr. Goodman? The knife. Lana, I just don't understand. Why would you tell us?
Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've seen Lana look so phased before. It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago.
She was amazing. I still talk about all the cases that she and Chief Gant cracked together.
Chief Gant? Then he was a vice head of criminal affairs, but he still had worked at the criminal scenes of the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything I aspired to be.
They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before reports could be even filed.
Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was
to get experience investigating crime scenes, so that you could later use that experience in court.
Gant's help in the SL9 case was critical in its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the chief detective was no doubt Damon Gant? Yes, Damon Gant and I share the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office? Wow. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when the last murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma.
Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark.
You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Detective Gant and Prosecutor Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages when Dark must have panicked. He waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Detective Gant and myself.
That's where he found me.
So, you were the first person to run the scene, Lana. Oh, God, that line was terrible. So, you were the first person to run this oh my God. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Drake. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seemed Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Bama and carried her out of the room. Just held her there. You can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Stark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, I don't buy it.
Well, what are you saying?
There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident, just by chance.
But that case was solved 2 years ago.
At least one person went to the extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he changed completely.
I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark.
Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with the memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself. The chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office. The site of the final SL9 murder. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere.
Things are kind of quiet around here today.
You're right. The head of the department seems the same, though.
Why don't we go looking for some other people to talk to?
Right. We can come back here later. Howdy, Bambina.
Oh, Mr. Marshall!
I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Quisiera será. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning.
Billy?
Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner.
But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it?
Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting steak lunch today. Something was fishy about that trial from the very beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with a broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But the initial autopsy report, a question was raised.
Question?
The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means that there is a good chance that the knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us.
The scars of the SLM incident left behind.
I got the looks, but he's got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when he went down. It was the first case together.
How old was he? Your brother?
He was 27 at the time. Just out of curiosity. Oh, okay. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You don't mean King of Prosecutors. Not that again. What are you looking at me for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother.
The day the Esplanade incident took place. That wasn't the same day as...
That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. Can't believe 2 years has gone by already. I tried to steal evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They?
What are you talking about?
Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Long Sky. Chief Damon Gant and his second-in-command Long Sky. There wasn't a person in that force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma says something like that too.
Tell me, what happened to my sister?
Sorry, Bambina, but her secrets is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. The one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I wouldn't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. No one's here today. Not even Miss Starr.
Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are.
But we proved in court today that no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime.
Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case.
But instead, it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty.
Hang in there, Lana.
I have to find all the answers by tomorrow.
Mr. Edgeworth isn't here.
Maybe he's being questioned by the inquiry committee? He took a real beating in court today.
Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago.
I guess we'll just have to come back later. Wow. Alrighty then. Okay, here we go. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted.
That must mean everyone's that must mean everyone's busy solving crimes.
Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. Well, the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth. Not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on this than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those.
Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Kent's office.
Just head across the hall to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor.
Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything.
Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office.
Whoa. And that's a pipe organ. Whoa. Where am I?
In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door.
Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it?
Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me the Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. I never could remember where C was.
Well, it sounded good. Hmm? Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Mr. Wright, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too, with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years ago have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's the picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it together to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Anyway, I like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together.
Oh, but this office. It was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out! I have a meeting to attend.
Looks like we are welcome.
It seems that case isn't over yet after all.
What do you mean?
Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us to looking around in there.
You mean like a clue?
There's got to be a way we can get inside the Chief's office. Oh, shoot. Hey! I chose right.
Hey, pal!
Detective Gumshoe, were you in a meeting?
I was, just taking a breather. My feet hurt.
Been sitting so long in the meeting?
Actually, I had to serve everyone coffee.
Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop.
Say, have any of you seen Mr. Edgeworth?
Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask?
He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like a battle between you two in court.
That sounds serious.
Is it because of what my sister said?
And it's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood.
Yikes.
But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Well, this guy is the guilty party here, isn't she?
And regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence he presents in court. And not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. Those who don't like him haven't been able to do anything because of his amazing talent as a prosecutor. But now with this,
Are there really so many people who hate him?
in our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only had that, but he was young. There's no better recipe for making enemies.
Hey, Nick! Keep up the good work!
Yes, sir!
Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat!
Yes, sir!
You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Nick?
Yes, sir!
It seems you don't have any problem with the enemies.
Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all the pressure, I'm afraid Miss Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a lot of that file earlier, while the coffee was brewing.
He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, what did you find? Did you find out anything?
The only evidence Stark left behind was during that final attack.
His final attack?
You mean, when he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl.
Me.
It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl.
And that's why he left most of the incriminating evidence of all.
Well, what was it?
Oh, let me see. Yeah, I think I had to do something with the murder weapon. Oh, I forgot. Look, it's all written here somewhere, okay?
His powers of recollection never fails to impress.
Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory.
About this.
Hey, don't tell me that!
There's a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were talking about.
And what are you doing with that? Ever since the case was closed, the knife's been locked away in a locker.
On the day that Detective Goodman was murdered, the suddenly disappeared from the locker. It was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler.
And that's it! Now I remember that incriminating piece of evidence was. When he showed me that knife, it all came back.
Well, what was it, Detective? Quick before you forget again.
This knife. It was Joe Dark's, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And we traced it back to the store that he bought it at, and it had his fingerprints on it too.
But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right?
And that's where his luck ran out. Yeah, when you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken.
You don't have to take a good look to notice that.
Yeah, well, anyway, take a guess where the broken tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in.
Where was it?
The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound.
Did it match Drake's knife?
You bet! Down to the very last fiber.
That's pretty conclusive.
And Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman.
A businessman? What made him take to serial killing?
One day, on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car.
With his car? So it was an accident?
An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal.
An animal?
He killed a man that witnessed the accident.
Oh my god. Well, I'm not voicing that. Seems like he was a pretty careless animal.
Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence.
So he turned himself in.
Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but fortunately he was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed.
That last witness. He must mean Emma.
Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know.
Can I ask you one more thing?
You know, what is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant.
It's not money, but it does concern the chief. This office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered.
The chief's out now, and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around, if that's okay.
Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door.
What? Really?
But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with a breach of trust.
Breach of trust?
Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you.
How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's.
That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died.
Oh.
So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into the office.
What if there's something that we could show him that would change his mind?
I don't know. Honestly, I want to see if Edgeworth is here. Yeah!